Alright guys, it's time to do something different for a change, and that's instead of critiquing After the Flash 8, I'm here to talk what's good with After the Flash Wintertide. Cause since the birth of After the Flash Wintertide, it feels like people only have nothing good to say about it. Whether it was releasing way too early in development, killing ATF 7.5, to the extremely long development times for just about everything under the sun in the game, to the more community and lore aspect of the game, it seems that After the Flash Wintertide has done nothing good for this series and has only just caused many After the Flash Mirage players to leave and never return. But I want to say that this isn't true, that this game is not all bad, and that there is still some positives to this game that many people overlook, too busy being angry about this game, and it's largely on the system side of things. Because what I think people forget about ATF 7 to ATF 8 is just how much better the systems of After the Flash have gotten, allowing for a more immersive role-playing experience. So let's have a look at some of these systems then. First, I'll talk about character creation, which has gotten a big update with so many more features and tools to allow you to make such detailed characters, such as being able to duplicate items, and when you duplicate those items, it saves all your previous customization to that item, adding the ability to put default Roblox textures on items, allowing you to do something called rigging, which I'm pretty sure wasn't really a thing before this game. As in ATF 7, it was much more difficult to do such things. You also have the new arrows and circles for rotation and translation, instead of the old bars that, if you were like me, probably forgot which one did what, and just had to move all of them a little bit to figure out the correct one. There's also now the ability to group items and work with them all together and sharing those kits. So there's much more here than ATF 7 that I can go on about. But what you gotta realize is that even though, yes, ATF 7 had a breakthrough customization system, it is not near the level of complexity as the new system is right now. To quickly talk about it, you also have cars in ATF 8 getting major changes with the ability to interact with almost everything on the car, from the windows to the tailgate, and now you can get to customize the color of each piece of the car, unlike before where you just had a few colors to pick from for the entire car. You also have the customization of the parts on the car, which was not even a thing. And there are some more minor things, like being able to change the speed of the car, or how it doesn't take an item slot anymore to spawn a car. That's also not even mentioning the upcoming boat and motorcycle, which we will see in the Omega Christmas box. So all around, vehicles in ATF 8 are gonna be a lot more personal and unique, and a much more enjoyable experience to use, with the control speed allowing you to maneuver around cluttered areas. The prop placer has become much more user-friendly, with arrows and circles for translation and rotation, which is much easier to use than the old ATF bars. We also now have safeguards in place, like the confirm to place and confirm to delete, ensuring you don't accidentally remove an entire piece of your build, or place something down when you're not done adjusting it. The ability to move builds around the map is an amazing feature that allows for more mobile builds like boats, RVs, and camps, which paired with the open water and ability to remove obstacles such as trees and snow allow you to build virtually anywhere. You also have the expanded catalog of items at your fingertips, with all new packs along with the expanded prop room, which allows for much more expansive and detailed builds. Now let me quickly talk about the UI here, because it's a smaller topic and I think it's something that is very overlooked when comparing the systems of the two games, but it's something we cannot forget because it is such a core part of the game, and the UI basically allows you to do anything else in the game. The old ATF 7 UI was pretty basic, with bright safety orange and a weird pastel green, and very crude and simple boxes, to now with the smooth rounded shapes with much more toned down colors, easier on the eyes, and even some textures on the buttons. And that's all without talking about how we now have 4 UI themes to choose from. These differences may not matter much to most people, but it makes the UI feel like it fits the game more, and it is a part of the game's atmosphere. And lastly, there are items, and there's a lot of changes, such as the entirely new system of customization, which brings a lot more freedom to weapon selection, allowing you to tailor your guns to your characters even better than before. This is also not mentioning the more realistic guns, with instead of the old ATF 7 blocky and little detailed guns, you now have more smoothed out guns with a lot of detail representing their true counterparts. You actually have open bolt guns being open bolts, belt-fed LMGs getting more detailed reloading, along with the plethora of muskets and percussion cap rifles. And that is not even talking about all the new sounds for the guns in this game, especially the ones coming out with the Christmas boxes. Also, the ability to put any type of item in any slot is also great, along with the much more interactable items like the injectors that you can inject yourself or others, and the entire new system of spray cans. So, what's the big deal then? Why am I defending ATF 8 instead of critiquing it like all my other videos? Well, the point was that people have been so focused on the negative with ATF 8, coupled with how fractured the ATF community is, with so many disagreements and lines drawn about what is right and what is wrong, that I really don't know how Chad handles it all. But what I wanted to show us all in this video is that there is still some good inside this game, and that we should appreciate these new systems that are now able to be used in future ATF games. So the problems we have now with ATF 8, whether it's the map, timeline, atmosphere, or factions, it can all be fixed in the next game. And it's not even just the new overhauled systems that I talked about. There are so many much smaller quality of life things that make ATF 8 a much better playing experience. And we can't forget that, no matter how bad people think ATF 8 is, cause at least they're doing something right. So then, looking through the lens of community RP and lore, which game do I think is better? Well, that's a topic for another video, cause this video took a while to make, which I'll talk about in a second here. But I will say that looking at some other creators' videos made me realize that there's an overarching divide in the ATF community that extends out of this game into the larger internet culture. And I think there's also a lot of just not understanding development and what's going on behind the scenes. It's why I'm starting to think that Chad needs to be even more transparent, because what I've realized is that being transparent about stuff in the comments definitely doesn't reach the wider audience of ATF that needs to hear some of this stuff. So yeah, expect that all to be coming in the near future. But I'm gonna have another couple videos in between, just a little breather for everyone, including myself. So you may be wondering, if you didn't read the description or my pinned comment, why I took down the ATF 7 versus ATF 8 video, scrapped its part 2, and why parts of this video are just recycled talking points. So as you know, there was going to be a second part to the ATF 7 versus ATF 8 video topic. But I realized midway through editing the audio for the second part is that these two videos had lost their point and were just a mess of ideas that I think only existed to get people in the comments divided. The ideas ranged from complaining about things with ATF 8 unrelated to ATF 7, the sort of resolution statement to the second video that is now the end of this video, about how that despite its flaws and despite what people say about ATF 8, it still has brought some good to the table that will benefit future games, which didn't make much sense because I was presenting the videos as me picking sides and picking favorites just by comparing the systems. I also had nothing really good to say about the ATF 8 map, and anything I was going to say about factions would have probably made people mad no matter what I said. So the idea of bringing people together to agree on something was not realistic to that video. And there was even a part where I reacted to the State of After the Flash video to dive in the community aspect of ATF 7 versus ATF 8, aka the real issue people have with ATF 8, and talk about how I think most of that video is nonsense and invalid, which don't worry, I will talk about sometime. So this video is me trying to fix all of that by removing the off-topic nonsense and repackaging the video so the ending and topic made more sense, and making it so less I'm stating my opinion on which game I think is better to just being like, hey, I know it's bad right now, but look on the bright side. We have these new amazing systems that cannot really be fairly compared to the old systems in ATF 7 because they are just that good. And yeah, I'll see y'all around.